Welcome back, family, welcome back to Nation of Glory, the channel where we don't just tell stories, we let you live them, feel them, cry with them, and rise with them. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now because today we're about to take you on a journey that's going to stay in your heart for a long, long time. Grab your water, grab your tissue, sit back, and let me tell you about a girl who was told 1,000 times that she was too small, too soft, too broken, and how that same girl turned every no into fuel and is now standing tall inside the brightest lights WWE has ever shown on its future. This is the untold, uncut, real-life story of Natalie Elizabeth Beidelschies, the woman the world now knows as Tatum Paxley. Picture this, a tiny town in Ohio town where the biggest excitement on Friday nights is high school football under flickering stadium lights. That's where Natalie grew up. Single mom working double shifts at the hospital, dad not in the picture, money always tight, heat getting shut off in the winter more times than she likes to remember. But even as a little girl, Natalie had this fire nobody could explain. Teachers said she was too intense. Kids called her weird because while they were playing with dolls, she was in the backyard flipping tires that weighed more than she did. She found an old rusty barbell set at a garage sale for $10, dragged it home herself, and started pressing it in the basement while her mom was sleeping between nursing shifts. No coach, no gym membership, no fancy pre-workout, just a little girl who decided pain was better than feeling powerless. By the time she was 14, she was already stronger than most of the boys on the football team. But strength on the outside couldn't hide the storm on the inside. Natalie struggled with anxiety so bad some mornings she couldn't get out of bed. Panic attacks that felt like the walls were closing in. She used to sit in the school bathroom stall crying because the voices in her head kept whispering, "You're not enough. You'll never be enough." And in those darkest moments, she'd grip that cold barbell until her hands bled, because the iron never judged her. The iron never left. The iron just asked, "How bad do you want it today?" And she always answered by adding another plate. Fast forward to high school. Natalie discovers powerlifting. First meet, she's 15, 114-pound weight class, walks in looking like a porcelain doll with chalk on her cheeks, and deadlifts 405 pounds like it insulted her mother. The whole gym loses their minds. She wins the teen national championship that year. Then the next year. Then the year after that. USA Powerlifting crowns her the strongest woman pound for pound in the country multiple times. Colleges start calling. Supplement companies want her face on posters. But Natalie turns most of them down. Why? Because every time someone offered her an easy road, that voice in her head screamed, "You still don't believe you're enough without suffering for it." So she kept training in that same cold basement, sleeping 4 hours a night, working as a waitress to help her mom pay bills, and becoming the quiet monster nobody saw coming. Then life threw the punch nobody saw coming. At 19, during a heavy squat session, her back gives out. Complete disc herniation. Doctors tell her, "You may never lift heavy again. You have to stop." For the first time in her life, the girl who turned pain into power, had no pain left to give. Depression hit like a freight train. For almost a year, she didn't touch a barbell. She gained weight, lost friends, barely left her room. Her mom would find her staring at old lifting videos at 3 a.m., crying because the strongest version of herself felt dead. But here's where the story turns, and I need you to really hear this part. One night, scrolling YouTube at rock bottom, she stumbles across a WWE tryout clip. A woman named Roxanne Perez, someone half her size, is suplexing girls twice her weight. And something in Natalie's soul roared back to life. She didn't see wrestling, she saw controlled violence, she saw strength with grace, she saw a place where all the rage and all the love she carried could finally have a home. She messages a local indie promoter on Facebook, begging for a tryout even though she had zero experience. The guy laughs in the text, "Kid, you're a powerlifter with a broken back. Go home." She shows up anyway. First day of training, she can't even do a proper bump. Second day, she throws up from pain. Third day, she locks in a submission hold so vicious the coach taps the ring and yells, "Who the hell taught you that?" Nobody. She just refused to let go, same way she refused to let go of that rusty barbell all those years. 6 months later, she's wrestling on tiny indie shows for $50 and free hot dogs. She's still in constant pain, icing her back every night, but for the first time since the injury, she smiles again. Because every time she steps through those ropes, she's not Natalie the broken girl from Ohio. She's becoming something new. She debuts as Tatum Paxley, a name she made up because Paxley sounds like peace, and she finally wanted to find peace in the chaos. Word starts spreading on social media. This blonde girl with the crazy eyes who powerbombs women twice her size and then hugs them after the match like a psychotic golden retriever. Fans start calling her the human anomaly. WWE scouts finally notice when a clip of her deadlifting a 200-pound opponent with one arm goes viral. 2021, she gets the call. The call. The one every wrestler waits their whole life for. WWE wants her at the Performance Center. She cries so hard on the phone they think something's wrong. Nothing was wrong. Everything was finally right. August 2021, she signs. And the first person she calls is her mom, who's still working night shift at that same hospital. Her mom just whispers, "Baby, you did it. You really did it." Now here's the part that gets me emotional every single time I tell it. When she moved to Orlando for NXT, she took that same $10 rusty barbell from the basement in Ohio, the one with the duct-taped sleeves, and she put it in the moving truck. It sits in her apartment to this day. She says every time life feels too heavy, she goes and touches it. Reminds herself where she came from, how far pain can carry you if you let it push instead of paralyze. Inside NXT, Tatum Paxley is unlike anyone they've ever had. She's 5 feet 6 inches, maybe 135 pounds soaking wet, but she's pressing 315 on bench in the PC weight room while the first week. Roxanne Perez, now her real-life best friend, says Tatum is the only person who scares her in a good way. And on television, oh man, on television she's magic. That unhinged smile, those wild eyes, the way she'll hug you 1 second and try to twist your neck off the next, fans can't look away. She forms this beautiful, chaotic friendship tag team with Lyra Valkyria that had the NXT universe in tears when they won the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships together. And every time she hits her finisher, that spinning tombstone she calls the Paxley Driver, the crowd erupts because they know a piece of that little girl from Ohio is finally free. But the most powerful moment came in 2024. During a storyline where Tatum was obsessed with Lyra, creepy in the best way, she cut a promo that wasn't scripted. She looked dead into the camera with tears running down her face and said, "I used to think strength was how much I could lift when nobody was watching. But real strength is letting people see you break, and still getting back up when the whole world is watching." The arena went silent. Then the Tatum chant started, the loudest I've ever heard in the Capitol Wrestling Center. Even the cameramen were crying. That wasn't acting. That was Natalie finally telling the 10-year-old version of herself hiding in that Ohio basement, "We made it. You're safe now." Today, as we speak in 2025, Tatum Paxley is one of the most beloved women on the NXT roster. She's headlining live events, she's on every poster, and WWE knows they have lightning in a bottle. But more than that, she's proof. Proof that the kid who was too small, too scared, too broken can become undeniable if they keep showing up. Every time she steps on that NXT stage with those bright lights hitting her face, she's carrying every single person who ever felt not enough. And when she raises those arms and screams to the rafters, she's screaming for all of us. So if you're out there tonight feeling crushed by life, remember the girl who turned a $10 rusty barbell into a WWE contract. Remember that pain doesn't have to be the enemy, sometimes it's the map. And sometimes the very thing that almost kills you is the thing that teaches you how to fly. That's the story of Natalie Elizabeth Beidelschies, the unbreakable heart now known as Tatum Paxley. And I promise you, the best chapters are still being written. Family, if this story moved you even a little, do me a favor, hit that like button for the girl who refused to quit. Share this video with someone who needs to hear they're stronger than their storm. And if you're part of Nation of Glory already, comment down below. We rise by lifting others, because that's what we do here. We rise by lifting others. Subscribe and turn on that bell because next week we're telling another story that's going to remind you why you fell in love with this crazy beautiful world of professional wrestling. I love every single one of you. Thank you for letting me tell this one. I'll see you very soon. Until then, stay glorious. Peace.